Hey guys, it's Nick, and I'm going to talk about 5 things to look forward for in the upcoming season of 2018-19. And, what I believe you should keep an eye out for this upcoming season. I know last season the Hawks were terrible, they were the worst team in the division. But think about it, they are 2 years out of having the best record in the Western Conference and winning the Central Division. And they won the Stanley Cup in 2015. So about 4 years out from winning their last Stanley Cup. But, knowing that, we need to have some optimism about going into the season. I bet you can hear Frank in the background because he's just being crazy right now and he wanted to be in my room when I was recording. But here's my 5 things to look for in this upcoming season. Number 5, the Winter Classic. I know we are horrible outside and our record, we only have 1 win in our outdoor record. But this is a sign for new jerseys to come. Since the Blackhawks may be one of the teams that don't have a 3rd jersey, this is a chance to get another jersey for the Blackhawks that you may not have. Sorry, he is going absolutely nuts. But if it's a chance to see an original 6 matchup in the Winter Classic, it's always fun because the last one I want to say was Bruins versus Montreal in 2016. I honestly think that's the last time 2 original 6 teams faced off in the Winter Classic. But the Blackhawks are going to be celebrating their 10th anniversary of their first outdoor game. Their first outdoor game took place in Wrigley Field. This year, it's a little bit different because they're hosting it again, but it's not going to be in Wrigley Field. It's going to be in Notre Dame. So, what I'm believing the Blackhawks may do for their Winter Classic jersey, have their original looking uniform where it was all black with a few white stripes up on first, white shoulder yoke, and then a few stripes on the waist area, and then a few white stripes here. It would look like an awesome jersey because the Blackhawks are the only team out of the original 6 to not do a throwback to their original uniforms yet. Montreal had one when they did those ugly, that year they had their 100th anniversary when they had those ugly barber pole jerseys. Boston technically had it in 2016 with their Winter Classic, but all they did was alter the color to black from it being brown. Toronto had it just last year with their Toronto Arena jerseys. Detroit had one in 2009 with their Winter Classic versus the Hawks. The Hawks and the Rangers also had their original looking uniform, I want to say. I can't remember what year it was, but they did have one that looked really similar to their original uniforms, and they really never changed theirs. But the Blackhawks being the only team to not have done this yet as a throwback for the original 6, I can see the Hawks doing it this year. So that's number 5. Number 4. The youth movement. Hawks are looking to get younger as they've been doing it last season and the previous season before that. They were still a little bit older, but they were working on getting younger. Well, last year they were one of the younger teams in the NHL. They were working on doing that, and they this upcoming season, they would still be looking to get younger. They have a lot of rookies coming up this year, possibly. Key rookie to look for is Henry Arkiharu. But with this youth movement, that means there's going to be a big change in the guard of leadership. The Hawks leadership would be more so leading young guns to more NHL experience and hopefully a playoff push this year, because if Corey Crawford's fully healthy, Hawks could be a playoff team. But number 4 was a short, brief statement on what I think. But number 3 is a key one. Number 3, Corey Crawford. Corey Crawford last year had the best numbers out of every goalie in the NHL. And when he went down, the Hawks went down. The Hawks basically fell off the face of the earth after Corey Crawford went out with injury. If he comes back fully healthy, and what it sounds like he probably is, we don't have to worry about us having 5 to 6 goalies making a chance into the Blackhawks roster. Last year it was just horrendous seeing how many goalies we had to use, and it was hard to watch the struggle this team went through with having Forsberg, Berube, Glass, Delia for one game, and then the only highlight out of those goalies that came out was Scott Foster, and he's only a beer leaguer. But with what we are looking to do this year, with us bringing in Cam Ward to back up Crow, I think it's going to help Crow out, because Cam Ward has the starter experience, and I know he had a horrible season last year with Carolina, but I think he will have a bounce back with the Chicago Blackhawks. Most goalies, if they go to a different team after they were struggling for some time, they end up having better numbers with the new team. So I can see Ward actually becoming a solid backup for Corey Crawford. The contract, on the other hand, is not a good contract. I agree with people saying he should have made like $2.5 million, not the $3 million for 1 year that he ended up getting. But that's a small thing that we have to deal with. With the Hawks having these 2 goalies and Crow and Ward, it's going to set up for hopefully a good goalie year for the Blackhawks. I'm praying for it. And then number 2, it's Nick Schmaltz. I know this could have been part of the youth movement, but Nick Schmaltz, he's a free agent next year. He's a restricted free agent, so we don't have to worry about him going unrestricted. But with Nick Schmaltz, this means he's going to want to get paid. He's going to probably be looking to have a big season this year. If he's on the same line as Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat, I bet you that they are going to that he's going to have a big season. Last year he was tied for second in points with the Hawks. He was tied with Alex DeBrincat. But Schmaltz is not a big goal scorer. It's already said about that, but he is a big point producer and a key puck stealer. He has led the NHL in takeaways last year, which is a good number to have if you're a young centerman in the NHL. But us having to pay Schmaltzy next year can set up for what we might be looking at for the following year for Alex DeBrincat. Following year would be Alex DeBrincat's final year on his entry level, and the Hawks would be looking to pay both of them some big money. They're key players to the future core of this team, because I'm saying the future core because of Henry Jokiharju's coming up. Adam Boqvist is in the system, getting ready to come up in probably 1 to 2 years. Alex DeBrincat's already up and is already a star scorer in the NHL. But with what we're looking at doing is making a core to the future. And how the Hawks are looking to build around this future core is a key part on what the Hawks need to do. But one, a potential bounce back to the playoffs. The Blackhawks, everyone had them right out this year. On the Hockey Guys, everyone voted the Hawks being the worst in the Central Division. But they weren't putting into account that Corey Crawford isn't with the Blackhawks right now. He's injured. If Corey Crawford is healthy and at 100%, we're looking at a playoff team. I'm saying that because Corey Crawford is one of the best goalies in the NHL when he doesn't get the credit about it. The Hockey News last year said the only reason why Corey Crawford's numbers are so good is because he was on behind the Blackhawks defense. But look what happened last year. Their defense was garbage and Crawford's numbers were terrific. This year, with us having probably a defense looking like Duncan Keith, Henry Jokiharju, Gustav Forsling, even though he's injured, and he probably will be in the Hawks the second 3 weeks of the season. And Gusterson, solid defenseman if we need him to score. Then Seabrook Manning. We have a solid defense. We just need them to step up. Our forward lines aren't that bad because we have quite a bit of youth coming in, as I already stated. So what we're looking to do is build this team to become a playoff contender probably within this year. If they make the playoffs this year, people need to watch out for them because they have something to prove. Their cup window is not closed. It's still open. It's open for a couple more years with the Kane, Taves, Crawford core on. Crawford and Keith going. As long as we have them going, if Taves is bounced back and having a star season for another Selke, which I can highly see happening. Sorry about the barking, my other two dogs are just being idiots. But if we look at this, the Blackhawks are looking to build a season to prove teams wrong and help them regain a playoff spot. So if Crawford's healthy enough, the Hawks are going to probably finish 4th in the Central Division. I know people think this is... I'm crazy about saying that, but we're looking at a rebuild here. We're in the next couple of years. We're looking at our youth movement. We're looking at Corey Crawford's health. And we're looking at what the Hawks' state of the team is at this time. Right now, the Hawks are looking at if Crawford is 100%, we're going for the playoffs. Because he's one of the greatest goalies in the NHL. If he's healthy, we're looking at doing this. And this is why I'm saying those are our top 5 things to look for in this upcoming season. Leave a comment down below on what you think the 5 things the Blackhawk fans should look forward for this upcoming season. And if you haven't done so already, please leave a like and subscribe. And most of all, let's go Hawks.